guys, I'm back. I want to apologize for not making a video last week. I had a ginormous pimple that I didn't want to subject you guys to, because that's not cute. And my weather was just out of whack. It was always raining and disgusting, and there was just no good time to film that fit within my schedule where I had good lighting and good all this, because, you know, I was a little disappointed. Like I wrote in my description box about my lookbook video that the quality just wasn't where I wanted it to be. So I apologize. Those pictures are starting to filter onto my blog, so check it out, littlemissjbstyle.tumblr.com, or my IG, littlemissjbstyle. You know, always nice to have more people follow and check out my swag and let me know what you think. So today I'm going to be talking about a very popular topic that a lot of people always come to me, and a lot of undergraduates are starting to embrace, and a lot of people who are finally in the real world and are realizing, oh crap, you know, I got all this stuff to kind of pay and all this stuff for my money to go towards. So I want to talk about budgeting and the importance of budgeting, and show you guys my personal budget, my original budget, like when I first started out, just to show you guys how to create a budget, how to allocate your money to reach your financial goals, whatever they may be. Because I know a lot of you trying to get rich, buy his and hers J's and maybe his and her Ferraris and that big mansion, you know, in the Hamptons or down, you know, on the beach, whatever. You know, in the wise words of Eddie Griffin, you can't get rich if you spend the shit, right? So you gotta make sure that you're budgeting to make sure that you are putting yourself in the best financial situation, because you never know what's gonna happen, nothing's guaranteed, and so you wanna make sure that you kind of have yourself set up for everything that you kind of are trying to accomplish in life. First thing, make goals, okay? What do you want to do? Short term and long term. So, you know, short term might be, oh, I'm trying to go on this trip, you know, to Florida with the boys. I'm trying to buy me this brand new pair of shoes that's $300. And then you have the long term goals. I'm trying to be debt free, you know, within the next 2 years. I'm trying to save up for having kids or to buy a house, you know. So you want to make sure that you have those goals in mind, so you know where to allocate your money after you take care of the necessities, which I will kind of cover all of that next when I show you my personal layout for my budget and how I allocate my money. In the description box below, as always, I do have links to printable budgets and also to Excel spreadsheet budgets, you know, however you want to do it, whichever way works best for you. I know some people are old school, some people are new school. So those will be in the description box, along with some other sites kind of that just talk basically about budgeting. Without further ado, let's go check out my budget and how I can help you to save your money to do it big. So this is my lovely budget, and we're going to be focusing on projected income and projected costs, because what we want is for your projected balance to equal 0 at the end of your budget after you put in your income and your expenses. So first we're going to focus on my income, and so this value is actually after my health insurance, dental, 401k, and taxes are applied, so I don't actually keep track of those within my budget. Next, you're going to focus on your necessary expenses. So this is anything that you need to live and to do your job. So rent, electric, water, internet, obviously, gas, only to and from work, and then food, and also if you have a pet, their food as well. First, I fill in all the fixed expenses, so rent and obviously my electricity aren't going to fluctuate. But then for things that do change month to month, what I like to do is actually plan for the worst case scenario. So for things like my electric and gas and water, I'm going to put in the max amount of money that I have ever spent on the thing. So for example, 160 is the most I spent on electricity, but not how much I would expect to pay typically for this month. So as you guys know, I do have a pet, and so typically I would put money in there if she needed food, but this month she's covered. So now I'm going to go back and focus on everything highlighted in yellow, which is what your priorities or goals are. For most people, this applies to their debt, so you want to make sure that you're putting in your minimum payments so those are going to be covered. So for my car note, $397 is my minimum payment, and student loans is $301. And I'm going to actually come back to my savings later once I've delegated the rest of my money. left right here is basically your discretionary income, and what I'm gonna do now is basically go in line by line for all the places that aren't filled in and fill in however much I plan to spend that month. So in this case, for my transportation, all those are actually going to stay zero because I have a company car, so those are expenses I'm not going to be worried about, but I do have a trip coming up, so I am going to add extra money for gas. I'm skipping over insurance because that's covered and going straight to dining out. I give myself about $200, so I have $50 a week to kind of go out to eat or drink, and then $60 in household items, which is stuff like cleaning, sheets, and curtains, etc., etc. Moving on to pets, I do have a trip, so I'm putting $75 in for kenneling, but everything else she's basically covered this month. Looking at my personal care, I'm pretty healthy. I do my own hair and nails, but I do plan to spend $120 on clothes. For me, this is a limit, not so much how much I could spend because I could spend a lot more than that, but I try to limit myself to $120 a month. And the only other expense that I have to worry about in personal care is my health club, and that costs $21, which is fixed, so that's nice and easy. For entertainment, I really only put $80 in clubs. That's obviously like $20 cover, worst case scenario, 4 nights a weekend, but honestly I don't even spend that much ever. So now that that's all taken care of, I have this much left in my projected balance, so I can put that towards my priorities. So I have an automatic payment for my vehicle, which I put up to $400 to kind of help a little bit to ease that pressure. And to get my 3 to 6 months into my savings account, I'm going to put $200 in my savings account this month also. After all those expenses are taken care of, I'm left with a whopping $706, which I'm going to apply towards my student loan since it has the most interest, so that debt needs to be paid off the quickest. Other than that, it's pretty straightforward. Basically fill in the blanks with how much you plan to spend and put your extra where you want it. Alright guys, so that's how I create my budget. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward, obviously. So now I'm going to share with you just a few tips to stick to your budgets and to kind of make all this a little bit easier. First, take advantage of automatic payments, please. I know a lot of people are paranoid. Well, if I put my credit card information, they can mischarge me. With a lot of your loans, car notes, school loans, they will actually reduce the interest. Not by a whole lot, maybe by like 0.5%, but your interest rate will go down, which is a bonus when you're trying to pay off your loans ASAP. You heard? So take advantage of automatic payments, and a lot of banks now offer paying bills online, so they will actually once a month, whatever the amount for your check is, they'll write the check and send it to the company to pay your bills. So if you don't have an automatic bill payment, if you know that you have a fixed payment, you can go ahead and take care of that. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Hong Kong. What? 2, make sure that you're updating your budget weekly. Keep it as up to date as possible so you can see where you are in terms of your spending. You want to make sure that you haven't already overspent, week 1. You can kind of project as the month goes on, when you're coming to the end, how much extra money you're going to have. It's a working document. You want to make sure that you are evolving and letting it evolve with you and your needs. Next, I haven't personally done this, but I have heard that this works for other people, and that is using cash for things like food, gas, eating out, all those discretionary expenses we talked about. And the only reason I don't like to do this is because if somebody takes my purse, that's a lot of cash for them to go and run off with. I don't really feel comfortable carrying cash, especially in large amounts, even if it's just $100 to get me through the week. I don't like it. And keeping all those receipts is very tedious for me, so I like to be able to just use my debit card, look at my bank statement, and it makes it so much easier for me to go back and fill in my budget. But at the same turn, obviously, because I'm not seeing my cash flow depleting, I'm more prone to overspending. The last thing that you guys want to take into account that I am going to be looking into also to help me, because I have gone over budget on my shopping probably every month. I'm Jordan. I have a shopping addiction. Hi. So I want to, download an app that will basically kind of help me and warn me when I'm about to make a purchase, or if I make a purchase that I've gone over budget. Basically to make myself more cognizant and really hone down my discipline on my spending. So that is all I've got for you today. If you want me to make a video on debt you know, obviously it's stressful. And I can talk about my journey on debt and all that if you really are interested. If not, sorry for wasting your time even talking about it. But anyway, I will definitely see you guys next week. I'm going to be sharing with you basically kind of a beauty focused one. I will be making a really fun video at the end of the month because I will be attending my grandfather's races in Road America. He races Porsches. So I'll be basically doing a little getaway my Labor Day weekend, and it will also be up on the blog. So take a look out for that at the beginning of September. And my birthday's in September, so I will be probably doing a get ready with me turning 23 video, or just a little vlog about my life up to this date. And also I will be releasing a bonus video on distance relationships, as I have actually had a few requests for it. So, you know, stay on the lookout. Peep it. Peep it. Hit that play button. Just watch it, girl. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next week. All these fun things coming to you and more on Little Miss JB's channel. Yeah. Deuce.